Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today, well, it's not going to be the happiest of episodes, let's say that. Over the past week, there's been announcements of different studios going away. Studios that I like and have made games that I like. So I just want to talk about this, because it is sad and it sucks. So, we've got Ronimo Games, we've got Me, or My, I don't actually know how you pronounce it. I'm going to say Me is how you pronounce it, but I do apologise if that's not correct. I honestly don't know. And then Volition, which is the Saints Row guys. So, let's start with Ronimo Games. I will link all the websites that I've used and put them down below. This is gamesindustry.biz. Ronimo Games, for you guys that don't know, I don't know if it was their biggest game, but Awesome Noughts was the game that I played a lot of, which is what this big picture is here at the front on there. I'm going to assume that was their biggest game. It was basically a Saturday morning cartoon MOBA with a bunch of YouTubers doing the voices for the characters. They supported it for a long time. It's a very, very good MOBA. It's one of the few MOBAs I actually played a lot of and enjoyed. But let's read this. So Ronimo Games reportedly files for bankruptcy. Awesome Noughts developer Ronimo filed bankruptcy as reported by game developer, quoting Dutch outlet Emirates. The Utrecht-based studio reportedly filed for bankruptcy on August 22nd in the Central Netherlands court. An employee confirmed the bankruptcy on the developer on a Discord server. So we got hit by a series of unfortunate events while working on our last project and weren't able to recover despite our best efforts. Now, I don't know if that means that they were working on something different, but their last project, I think, was Blightbound. I never played Blightbound. I heard mixed things about it, but it still had like a nice art style, and it was meant to be like a co-op, like dungeon crawler thing. I think I could be way off base, but it definitely was a co-op game. What this means for Awesome Noughts and Blightbound multiplayer is as of yet uncertain. The process is still ongoing, and it depends on where it ends up. For what it's worth, myself and others at Ronimo would love to see both games live for a while longer. I hope the servers for Awesome Noughts definitely don't go offline. That is a game, because if they set a date for when this is going offline, I will be playing a lot of it just to make sure I can get time with that game. I really hope they don't. I really like Awesome Noughts. It's not a perfect game, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. Game Biz reached out for clarification. Former employee and independent developer Jurian D. Stout, who worked as a programmer on Blightbound, also responded to the news on, I'm not going to call it that, Twitter. I will miss all the good people with whom I worked for the last 4 years, Stout wrote. My work the last few months was super interesting, and we were getting somewhere good, so it's unfortunate it ended here. Oh, it's just sad. Just sad, because Awesome Noughts was just a really fun game in a sea of when, it was at a time when games were very brown, and then this comes along, like you can tell by the picture here, like I said, very Saturday morning cartoon-esque game. These were all different skins that they had, but it was just it was a silly game, and it was fun, and for an indie studio to make a MOBA when MOBAs were the thing at the time, it was good. It was really good. But I am sorely going to, if things do get shut down and this company is no more in any form, it will be sorely missed, because I love Awesome Noughts, and great soundtrack as well. If you're not listening to the music, go and check out the soundtrack, go check out the composer of that, and I hope all these people, they find jobs elsewhere. Moving on then, where I'm on actually on Mimi's site. So this is their final game, and this is slightly different. This seems to be more on their own terms, but this is what they put out as a statement. Dear community, team and industry, it is with a heavy heart that we today have to share the news that Shadow Gambit, the Cursed Crew, will be Mimi's final game. Now, I haven't played this yet, but I have played Desperados 3 and I've played Shadow Tactics, which are very, very good games. They're in the style of like Commandos, if you know what that series is. Stealth action, stealth tactics. I really liked Desperados 3, really liked Desperados. I mean, I really liked Shadow Gambit as well. Not Shadow Gambit. Shadow Tactics, Blaze of the Shogun. I really like that game too. But Desperados was phenomenal. And I haven't got to Shadow Gambit yet. I will be getting this at some point to give it a whirl. As they say here, as we look back at our 15-year journey crafting games and crying about it, we feel grateful for the incredible love and support we've received from all of you. We've cherished every game we made and feel proud of what we were able to accomplish as a studio. At the same time, dedicating the past decade and a half of our lives working on increasingly ambitious games took a heavy personal toll on us and our families. After the release of Shadow Gambit, we decided it was the right time to prioritise our well-being and pull the brakes instead of signing up for another multi-year production cycle. And I think not many studios are ever going to be smart enough to, do this. They clearly made the games they wanted to make. They clearly had the time, had the fun they wanted to do. And they're realising, hey, you know what? We want to spend time with our friends and families and not work ourselves to death. I don't think it'll be... I think a lot of people that work there, it probably won't be the last games that they make. I just think they need a long time. And you can't keep a studio open, maybe 10-year gap or something that they might want. So fair play to them for realising that and going, hey, you know what? We're not prepared for another one of these. To stop and to go and do something else and to actually take a break. While this means that we won't start production on a new big game, we will continue to fully support Shadow Gambit. We're already working on a patch. This also means we'll be slowly ramping down the studio over the next few months. We share this decision with the whole team at an on-site meeting before releasing this announcement. So that's good to hear. They're actually... I don't know how big the studio is. I don't imagine they're that big. Maybe, if I had to guess, I would say maybe 40 members, something like that. It might be more than that. Because the games they were making probably took a lot effort. Maybe it's more than 40, but I'm glad that they made it very well known before just doing it. We're doing everything in our power to support our team, and we are starting to reach out to our friends in the industry to find suitable new jobs for all the memes. If you have any open positions or interested in hiring amazing talents, so that's really cool that they're trying to do that. And there's also, where does it say? Yeah, thanks to the recent launch of Shadow Gambit, we were also able to pay out bonuses to all the employees helping them during the transition. Awesome stuff, We want to thank our community and fans for playing our games and enjoying it with us. Your joy and support fuel our passion. Thank industry peers helped us along the stages of this company and from founding it to self-publishing for the first time. Your mentoring was proof of success. Thank all our business partners, especially Coulon Knights, THQ Nordic and Daedalic Entertainment, as well as external partners and companies that have worked with us. Also thanks to both the Bavarian Regional Games Fund, FFF Bayern, the German Games Grant of BMWK. Without the funding, skills and assistance from all of you, this journey wouldn't be possible. Most of all, we want to thank the whole team and everyone who worked with us in any capacity on these games. You made Me what it was. We are now focused on delivering the additional content for Shadow Gambit and fulfilling our duties as managing directors of the company. To our team, our fans, business partners, most supportive way we can. And while we don't know what the future will hold for both of us, we still love video games. Yeah, mad. I forgot it was the guys at the top that wanted to call it quits. Oh, here we go. There's a bit more to it. I didn't realise this was. Why is this happening? I didn't realise there was more here. Cool. We can read through this because I haven't actually read this. So making these games was amazing and extremely taxing at the same time. Reaching a level of quality Me strives for is hard and requires focus and dedication. We also have to acknowledge that our future production costs are growing faster than potential revenues of our genre. Yeah, that's true. Stealth games aren't exactly the most popular. The increased financial pressure and level of risk became unsustainable. Additionally, whenever our games got close to release and were finally fun to play, a new fight for funding of following projects started, making a continuous cycle. Since 2011 and pitching The Last Tinker, there was never any downtime for it. Christ, can you imagine from 2011 to 2023 where you just in constant cycle of right, next thing, mad. As founders and directors, we found it increasingly difficult to strike a balance between fulfilling internal expectations for the studio and being available for our young families. Meeting our goals of quality, company culture and management requires a constant level of energy that we simply can't provide anymore. Yeah, I can imagine that's insane the amount of energy you have to put into something like this. Again, on a smaller scale. Ramping down the company and making Shadow Gambit our final game is an extremely tough decision. We never expected this would be how Me ends, but even if one of us, clarification us meaning Dominic and Johannes, were to break down, fail or burn out, the situation would escalate quickly. Ultimately, managing a production of this scale in combination with an extremely competitive market proved to be too taxing. Yeah, that makes sense. Why not change the genre? Working in a new game genre would increase risks and stress levels across the whole team even further. It's already hard enough to make great stealth strategy games. We're simply lacking the experience of working on. Yeah, Yeah, smart answer again, yeah. So we'll buy games in the future. Yeah, all games remain available. Cool. I'm glad nothing's going away. Can you receive the German games I've done in this game? German games grant. Sorry. Mumble my way for it. Yes, we are incredibly thankful for the opportunity without which this game wouldn't exist. With help of the grant of the BMWK, we delivered an excellent title that you can play for many hours and which will surely play for many years. Developing and self-publishing this game was an amazing experience and the whole team learned a lot. Can I rent your awesome office? Can I buy your high quality furniture and hardware? Yes, please get in touch. Oh, but yeah, sad really, because they all of their games that I have played, so so Shadow Tactics and Desperados were quality, like some of the best stealth games I've played in years. And lastly, we've got Volition. So this is the guys that made Saints Row. They also did the Descent games. They did Free Space. They did it was Agents of Mayhem or whatever it was called. I did Red Faction. I don't know how many Red Faction games, whether they were the original developers or not, but all you need to know is they've been shut down immediately. I want to read this. It has been translated down here, so I'll read it in bigger form. But all you need to know is Volition have been around for 30 years, and THQ or Embracer have just decided to call it quits. Now, I was very critical of the new direction they were taking Saints Row in, and I still haven't played it. And I think the fact that it took so long to make, and they haven't, like, Saints Row 4 was probably their last good game, like solid game. I think Get Out of Hell was kind of like, people were like, it's okay, and then they did I think it's Agents of Mayhem, I think that's what it's called, and then they did the new reboot on Saints Row, and I think just the direction they took the game in was kind of what killed it. So let me read this statement by Volition, because I think this is really important that you know, that people know about the company. So 30 years of making games. There are only a handful of studios in the industry that have been around for 30 years, which is true. There is only a handful. We took a lot of pride over Volition being one of them. Volition has been around long enough that some folks forgot that we made, but certainly know our games. Refrains such as Volition made Descent, or Volition made Free Space, or Volition made that Summoner RPG that was at Alarian's video are not uncommon. Sometimes it's easier to remember the games more than the studio that built them, especially for those that have been around as long as we have. But all good things come to an end, and so it is with Volition. After 30 years, Volition is closed, and we want to say a few final words. To start with, we know there wouldn't be a studio without the people in it. While it may sound cliched, as those who have worked at Volition can attest, it truly is a huge family. Volition started with a team that had a vision for how to make the kinds of games others couldn't, and infused that confidence throughout the entire company. We assembled an incredibly talented group of artists, storytellers and creators who together built a culture that attracted top quality people who truly cared for each other. Time progressed, people naturally came and went and very often returned again, but the people were always that made Volition truly special. Do all developers feel the same? We know they do, but in this case this was truly a unique culture of people that cared about each other like a family, combined with the will to create some of the most unique games ever created. Thank you so much every Volition Knight who has ever worked here. You're all what makes this magical place. There was a word. You are all what made this the magical place it was to work at, and we can never say enough about how much you have meant to us over the 30 years. Beyond our development family, we also wouldn't have a studio without our extended family, our community. For 30 years now, you've played our games. Sometimes you've loved them, sometimes you've been disappointed with them, but you've always been there. We can speak for everyone who's worked at Volition when we say that all the hard work and sacrifices we put into these games have been for you. Over these many years, we have enjoyed working on an extremely diverse series of games, and so many of you have come along for the ride. We can't thank you enough for sticking with us throughout all this time. We've loved your enthusiasm every step of the way, even those times when you wish we hadn't gone a certain way with a Saints Row or Red Faction or Descent. You're why we kept making these games, and for us that have been part of the Volition family, we're eternally grateful. Farewell. Yeah, it's just sad, man. Because like the Saints Row 3 and Saints Row 4 were like, I stopped giving a crap about Grand Theft Auto a long time ago. Like Grand Theft Auto, like it's not been the same since the earlier games. I don't really care about it being super like serious. Saints Row 3 was the start of, hey, we can make an open world game that's similar, not exactly the same, but similar, and just make it very silly. And it is dumb as hell. The expansions are dumb as hell. The game's dumb as hell. Not everything's aged well. But Saints Row 3 was a phenomenal game. And then Saints Row 4 came out and was basically the best superhero game ever at the time of its release. Because you just gave you that power fantasy of like flying around, running up walls. It was just incredible. Yes, it used the same map as 3, but it was such a ridiculous story and just a fun game. And you know, I have actually played a bit of Descent and Free Space. Mad to think that Volition did them, because even I forgot that. But and I forgot the Red Faction too. But yeah, you know, it's crazy to me that this company that's put out such good quality products over the time, and now we're left wondering what's going to happen to some of these franchises. You know, I'm sure they'll get passed on to other places, but it's always sad when you see studios going away, all for different reasons. Ronimo because of bankruptcy, Saints Row probably just because they've reshuffled over at Embracer Group, and reshuffling basically means scaling down because they didn't get the amount of money they were expecting. And then Mimimi basically saying, hey, we're burnt out, we need to stop. You know, all 3 of these studios, I've had a great time playing their games. Not all, like, you know, even though the latest Saints Row might not be something I enjoy, they have made games that I do enjoy. And not every game the company makes is going to be for me. Not every game they make is going to smash it out of the park. But for me, Ronimo was Awesome Noughts, Mimimi is the stealth action or stealth tactics genre, and then Saints Row, Volition was Saints Row, and you know, here we are. I'm kind of hoping we don't see any more studios I like shutting down, because that would suck. But there you have it. I just wanted to bring light to this and show. I know most people are going to know about Volition. I don't know about the other 2, but I needed to bring light to these because these are all studios that have made games that I love. So anyway, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll put the links of all these down in the video at the bottom with my own Facebook links and stuff like that as well, so you can go and look at these articles yourself. Yeah, and until next video, I will see you then.